And good morning. Happy Thursday to Cornbread Man on the radio and on the network. Have one of my little doggies not acting right. I'm trying to fix it real quick, figure out what the problem is here. Anyway, it is good to be here with you, and I hope you're having a blessed day so far. Getting heading towards the weekend. We had a fun time last night with our guest with Vintage Outlaws Racing Series. Had a great time. Had a fun time with them. It's always great to have guests in. We've got another group coming in on the 16th, not racing, ministry, First Step Ministry. We're looking forward to having them. They do their own online Facebook. We're going to come on and talk to them about their ministry and what they do and all how they do it, and mainly about the Lord. So we're looking forward to that. That'll be 6 p.m. I believe that is June 16th. That is, of course, Eastern Standard Time. Let's get our Bible verse here in a second. Had a good time with Biscuit Boy last night, too, and I hope you were able to catch the first lap this morning. I hope so. I think this is my Substack acting up. I don't know why. See if we can fix that real quick while we are talking to you. Hope you got your coffee. Get up, pray up, coffee up, get all those things done. It's important to do. Get your mind moving. Get your pick up your cross. Go daily. Give the Lord praise for all that, because He is worthy, and He is so good to us. And every single day, we are so blessed what the Lord does in our life. Let's see here. Actually, I think it might be this one acting up. Not sure. There we go. There's one of the little doggies come in. Had a good time the other night talking with Miss Kim at Kim's Coffee Talk. I'll give her a shout out too. She starts around 6:30, 7, something like that. I'll give her a support every day. She's a fantastic person, and I'm honored to count her as a friend. So hang on just a second. Get back to the main page here. We'll just redo it. Redo it while we're talking. Give me a second. We will bring in the next one here. Just as that's what's better. All right. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on. Like Sam and Dave. Hold on. Love that song. I seen an old video interview last night. I've seen it before. I'm not a big fan of Dan Rather, but I do like his interview series, and he gets a lot of interesting guests. I'd seen it before, but I really did like the one he did with Dan Aykroyd, and it's interesting hearing being alive back in the day when the Blues Brothers movie was out, and how they were going on tour, and of course the death of John Belushi, really complicated a lot of stuff. Obviously, they just couldn't do it like they were going to do, and they had great musicians. But hearing him talk about, it's funny, people nowadays bring up stuff that we didn't hear about back then, and how they were probably, possibly culturally appropriating, as they said, their their deal. And I'm like, how could they, man? Everybody loved it, and it was no problem. Nobody was mad or anything. But nowadays, everybody wants to go back and look and say. I thought he handled that question very well. Really did. I give him applause. Dan Rather wasn't doing it in he didn't do it in a real bad way. He did bring it up though, So I just think that he handled that in a way that, there was nothing untoward about how they handled singing the blues and everything. And I liked also the fact that they gave the artists, they didn't try to take over, give them a pittance. They gave them their, full billing and everything. They didn't recut it and give them just the songwriting or give them $10,000, as he said, to walk away. They gave them what they were deserved. So I hate when they go back like that. That's typical of Dan Rather. He didn't hammer it, but I just think he handled it real well. Because I can tell you at the time, I didn't hear nobody saying none of that crap. I thought he just did a great job of that. All right, Bible verse. Let's get her up on the screen. This is I like this one. One of my favorite songs too, where it became part of one of my favorite songs. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go now. Yes, Matthew 11:29. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall, like that word shall, find rest unto your souls. Great verse. Absolutely great verse. Matthew 11:29. Awesome. So there you go. We'll pull up our, let's look at our national day today. There's a couple I wanted to. National Hug Your Cat Day. I don't have a cat, so I can't hug mine. But if you have one, you can hug your cat day. Miss Jen, she's doing a fundraiser for her. Well, her cat's got to have some surgery. You see her with a pet show. And so we'll have to post that link. We have on our Facebook, my Facebook. We need to do that again. It's very expensive. Boy, you got to have insurance nowadays, I think, if you don't have pets. We've been able to avoid that, but I kind of wish we had. National Cheese Day. National Cheese Day. I can take cheese or leave it. Some people get mad at me for saying that, and I don't care. It's like you don't like cheese, and I'm like, well, I like it, but I'm not, crazy about it or anything. I'm not. It's nothing that I just have to have. But if you've got it, I'll use it in some applications. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan or anything like that. It's good in some things. National Safe Day. That does not mean, obviously, a safe. It means to be safe. Well, you have to really pay attention nowadays. There's so many freaks out there. You just never know. National Old Maids Day. I'm not going to call anybody that. National Cognac Day. How do you say it? Cognac Day. Brain was working, mouth was not. National Clean Beauty Day. By the way, I've not had cognac. National Clean Beauty Day is also one of the days today. I'm not good with it. Cheat Day Mac and Cheese. That's a featured recipe, but cheat day mac and cheese. I guess that's so yeah. Got some good ones coming up too, and next week there's some of those I really like. Let's see here. On this day, in 1940. There is a 1760. The New England planters arrived in Nova Scotia, Canada, to claim land taken from the Acadians. There you go. 1940. It's always funny. People go back, well, you stole our land, you did this. Well, that's why you have a strong military. You don't think there wouldn't be a lot of people steal land from us if they could, and they're not giving it back. They're not giving it back. I'm not saying what was done was right. Every country has a history of some kind of war, taking land from the weaker. It's the human failure and sin that want to take from another. And for all those that want, money given reparations, whatever, it's not going to happen. But no, they're not giving it back. I mean, it's horrible, but we got to move on. Live in the now and not, 300 years ago. In 1940, the miracle of Dunkirk. British completed by evacuating 338,226 Allied troops from France via a flotilla of over 800 vessels, including Royal Navy destroyers, merchant marine boats, fishing boats, pleasure craft, and even lifeboats. 1989, remember this? Eastern Europe's first partially free elections in 40 years are held in Poland. Solidarity Party comes to power. And yes, also in 1989, Tiananmen Square, the massacre. The image of that Chinese man standing in front of the tank. Chinese troops clear the square of student protesters and official figures placed to death, though near 1,000. 2023 Ukrainian counteroffensive begins with increased fighting in the east and south of the country. There was news out of Ukraine that for the first time, the Ukrainians had gained more land back than the Russians had taken. It is costing the Russians out the nose. It's just there's ground gain, ground lost. It's it's butchering, cannon fodder for the troops. It's very expensive. The Russian economy is taking a huge hit because of this war. And Mr. Putin has said we're nearing the end of the war. He has a lot of land area. I don't know what the finality of it for him is. Some say all of Europe. I don't think that, but he wants a. I think he would like a successful town or two that he could claim, and then who knows? But it's costing him out the nose in literal manpower and in finances. It has put war is expensive, and it's just here it is 4+ years, and it's putting a little drag on the economy of Russia. They've made a lot of money with oil, but not enough to overcome all the inflationary hits and just the continued cost of war is expensive. I mean, we know what it's cost in Iran for us. That conflict, military action, whatever you want to say. Imagine doing that for 4+ years. We've seen the cost of that in previous administrations. It's expensive to fight something like that away from your home base. And even though that's close by, it's still away. They still have to fly things in and out. There's still a cost of that. So anyway, a little bit of look at history today. I didn't do birthdays, but if it is your birthday today, happy birthday to you. Hope you have a great day. Well, a little bit of news. Headline on Newsmax: Trump says he won't break Iran truce unless U.S. troops are killed. The report says that Trump has resisted pressure to counter recent Iran attacks with a broader military campaign, viewing the fragile truce as the best way to secure a diplomatic outcome and avoid a prolonged war. Well, and also there's signs that they're collapsing a little bit inside of Iran. The command structure has definitely had that happen. The internet's back on, the streets are filled. We'll see. Iran foreign minister says no tangible progress. Trump hopeful. Another headline. Marco Rubio said war is over despite ongoing strikes. Iran did hit Kuwait. U.S. strikes nowhere near Hormuz. An oil executive said Kuwait can restore most oil output in weeks of the Strait reopening. So, a lot of people want to, I just love watching people make predictions. Because as you know, most predictions do not come true. They'll get 1 out of 100 right, and they'll say, see, I told you, you need to listen to me. We can make educated guesses, and we may have some things right. We may have some of it completely wrong. But there's a group out there, and that's just the nature of things. But there's a group out there, and they could be the hate. But usually they hate Trump, or they hate Israel, or they hate whatever, and they make these grandiose predictions. That it's all over. Trump's going down, America's going down, Israel's going down. And it just doesn't happen. And it just cracks me up because they for all of their intelligence that they believe they're exhibiting, they're just letting their hatred for something be on display. And the liberals are a perfect example of that. They, predicting they'll get one little win in an election somewhere, in a seat somewhere in the land far, far away, and they'll see all of America's sick of him too. They're going to turn on him, and here we're. And it's just a continually comedy to watch this happen. And they're the doom slayer. I mean, it's always doom and gloom. It's always new, or always near the end. It's over. The media has been running hit pieces on the president and his health, and he's in great health, especially for his age. He's in great health, but they put all these false reports out. He went back to the doctor. They're lying to us. There's whole people put whole dossiers out that the president has, a disease. He's dying. He's this. It's just constant. It just never stops. I remember who was it? I remember Yasser Arafat? Well, that's a piece of scum that he was. But everybody had him dying for years. I mean, he held on for a long time, a long, long time. They said the same thing about Putin. Some even said he died, and all the body double stuff, all of them. They just constant. It's all mask. It's all body doubles. It's all infiltration. It's aliens. It's lizard people. It's it never stops. It just cracks me up. And one of the biggest ones that really cracks me up is that there's this secret society that is control of everything, and they've got it all mapped out. And it's going according to plan, but the plan blows up constantly. If it's it'd be like a terrorist group trying to make their bomb, and they blow it up while making it or in the delivery of it. And these people are bumblers. They're stupid. Is there people back behind the scenes trying to manipulate and control? Well, sure, there's always going to be that. But they act like this network is foolproof. It's perfect. They have this plan that nobody can stop. Nobody can win. Well, I know they're not going to win because Jesus wins. But they're in complete control. And then you watch them bumble and it blows up in their face. There's no way they write the script like that. No way. It goes completely against what they say. Don't give these people credit for nothing. I mean, it's just, I don't know what it is, man. Some people just buy into this. We're all under this control. We're all under mind control, and we can't stop it. It's too strong. Come on. And a lot of times these are Christians saying this stuff. I mean, come on. When we're saying God is not strong, that Jesus can't win, or he won't win, or he's not winning. I mean, come on. He's allowed it all to happen. It's just a part of the end time events. But these people are absolutely stupid. It's like, say Hillary, I'm sure they had her a part of it. If Hillary was in control as we think, would she have ever let herself be that scene going in that car, let that get out like that? I mean, come on. So they'll say other people are in control of her. And it just never stops. I read them every day, just flipping along the social media. And it's like, oh, okay, here's another story. Let's just say there's a lot of hatred out there. A lot of hatred. And a lot of people give way too much credit to people. All of mankind is in a fallen state. The only hope is Christ, and to be born again and redeemed. Jesus wins in the end. The war is won. There's many battles that's going to be. And the Bible tells us there's going to be these traumatic events that culminate with the return of Christ. So yeah, there's going to be ugly days ahead, very ugly days. But to say these people have complete and utter control is to deny the divine authority of Jesus Christ. Come on. And these are the same people that say that they're in one, lockstep with Jesus. No, you're not. If you're giving the enemy credit for that much power, you're denying the power of Christ. That's the best way to say it. You're denying the power of Christ. It just kills me. I mean, there are a few brilliant people, I'd say, but they're still sinners, and they're still a fallen state in nature. And we've seen that throughout history. Is even no matter how powerful you are, somebody always wants your seat. I mean, look through it. The Bible is replete with the killing of the leader to take over. So how do they control? Now, the one that will come, the Antichrist, will have a lot of control. It still doesn't have total control because Jesus' plan still goes forward. It's a temporary feeling they have. So, oh my goodness. And it just amazes me. But that goes back to the health and condition of the president. It's like everybody's got him dying. I mean, he gets a bruise on his hand, it's over. I mean, come on, you're 79, 80, you're going to get bruises on the hand. My wife, bless her heart, she had, your skin gets thinner. I don't care who you are. And you're going to get those things are going to happen. It's so easy to happen. You can do it putting your shirt on. And just wait. I always tell people, just wait. You'll find out. Death, the only thing that has defeated death is Jesus. That's the only thing that's conquered it, took the keys from it, and it is appointed that a man wants to die, and after this the judgment. Death wins in this life, but it does not win eternally. Thank God for it. People, oh my goodness, the devil really has to have a puffed up ego because they give him way too much credit. The president who has refrained from saying too much about the next election, has now spoken somewhat. And he said in a podcast that was aired yesterday that Vice President J.D. Vance and U.S. Secretary of State Rubio teaming up for a 28 presidential run would be unbeatable. That would be a very strong ticket. I'm just not sure that that's going to be the ticket, but that would be a very strong ticket. But I got news for him. I think that it's Rubio Vance, not Vance Rubio. Could be wrong. Goes on to say both men are seen as contenders for the 28 Republican nomination. Rubio's recent turn at the White House podium drew praise from Republicans and even some Democrats who noted his smooth performance, which included quibs and a 1990s hip-hop reference to describe Iran's negotiating position. He said, I would think that JD and Marco as a team would be very hard to beat. He told Miranda Devine in a podcast interview, it's interesting, human thing, the human equation. So I watched them together. They get along great. Trump has continued to full secession talk, even as both Vance and Rubio downplay their 28 ambitions. Vance and Rubio have taken turns to take the stage at the White House briefings to defend the Trump administration against a wide range of questions, including the crucially unpopular Iran war. That would be a strong ticket, though. I think Rubio's a lead in that right now, my opinion. I did like his comments before the committee. Which one was he before? Oh my gosh, it was the House Oversight Committee, wasn't it? And the lady, the libs, just up there going on about these shoes that the president gave you. They're too big, kept going on about shoes. He goes, what shoes? What's he talking about? What? I thought this was Oversight Committee. What? And she said, but you do have nice shoes. He goes, well, how could you even say that? You can't even see them. He schooled her. It made her look stupid. All the young people behind him just laughing. I mean, she's up there trying. And the other one with the British guy, Farang or whatever his name was, schooling, the embarrassment we have from Georgia, who's just up there bloviating, just going on and on and on. Not, and the British guy just made him look stupid, absolutely stupid. It was like a night at the comedy club, and he's getting everybody's laughing. I mean, this guy's up there and just going on and on and on. And the British guy, he made a one-liner of just about everything he said. These people, they just have. I get it. They do this all the time. They get their time and they waste it. Just waste it. And they don't even have, it's like her. And he had to read it all. And that's what she was doing. She's just reading. Da, 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 da. And he's just looking around like, what? They said, you imagine being a person have to write all their stuff up, They top it up, give it to them, and they're in there just, won't even listen to the answer. They'll ask the question, then they'll cover it up with another question. And the guy's just one lining out here. It was complete embarrassment. This has happened on both sides, but I think the liberals do tend to have it happen because they just all they want to do is get they want to get their 15 minutes of fame. They want to get out there thinking they're going to embarrass a person and get it on record how they threw all this out there. And all it does is show their stupidity. I mean, it really does. There's no intelligence. It's not governing. It's just, it's not stay on point. If you want to attack somebody on procedure, policy, a lot of the stuff was just, what is that guy's name? I know it from Georgia. Anyway, he's up there talking about how you're here for money. You're trying to win. You're a low little bitty party over there. You're just disparaging the guy. You're here licking the boots of basically the president. La 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 la. The guy's just. It was like comedy night. It was like amateur comedy night. And the guy steps up, and he's just rocking this guy from Georgia. I got to say, I love my state. I do. I've heard people say, I hate Georgia. I don't hate Georgia. I never will hate my state. Why would I hate my state? Georgia's an amazing place. I've lived here my whole life. It has the mountains. It has the flatlands. It has the swamps. It has the beaches. I mean, it just has so many beautiful, wonderful things to offer. The problem is we do have some stupid politicians, and we've had some for a long time. We have a lot of people come in and elect that kind of stupidity. We have some wonderful people, I think, that have served with dignity. I think they've done a good job. There are some out there. I've met them, I know them, and I think they have, did the best they could. You're a voice of one. You go in that room, you're a voice of one. You even if you're trying to stay with a party, you have one vote. I've been in the Senate chamber. I've sat there and watched. I've been able to cast that vote. I've had the honor of doing that. My senator gave me the honor to do that once, to push the button so his vote would be cast. But you'd speak to these people, and you sit and listen to these lunatics, and there are some, and they stand up in the middle of that chamber, that very historic, beautiful chamber, and they stand up, and that's a part of the process. You get up, and they'll just go on and on and on about how you're destroying this and you're destroying that, and it's the end of the world. It's always like that with the liberals, and you can always point them out, and they're just kind of cray-cray. I mean, they stand up, and they got wild eyes, many of them, most of them, and even years ago when I was there, and they're sitting there and they're just almost screaming, and putting on little theatrics, and then when it's over, they have a vote, and usually it goes very conservative. It's a pretty conservative state, even though there's been, some things. They just, some of them, they are elected, honestly, for chaos. It's a clown show. Their district elects them to go up there and do that. They love it. They jump up and down for it. Cheer them on. They don't get anything done. They're just like a thorn that continues to just try to fester, punish and hurt and inflict pain and all that. And that's what it's like. Everybody just sits around and they listen to it. They make a few notes. They look at the ceiling while I've sit and watched it, and they're just, hey, broski. Well, topic of discussion. And I'm kind of all over the place. I was talking about stupid politicians in Georgia, but on the national level too, and how some of these people in these committees have been getting schooled lately by I don't know if you saw the one with the British guy or the one with Marco Rubio. That's where it started. But I was coming down in the state level, and just these lunatic liberal ones that's been elected, and there are a handful that you think, okay, they've got some common sense. Some of their platform is wrong, or it's not conservative or whatever it is. But you got just full on clown show crazy that goes on, and I've seen it on display, and I've been in the room when it's happened. And I'm sitting there going, my gosh, I'd hate to have to. You can't deal with them. You can't talk to them. They're just fanatical. They're fanatics, and thankfully, it's not many of them. They get elected in the middle of liberal city, around Atlanta, and they'll come in there and they just their eyes are crazy. They talk crazy, and they put on a show. They scream. They jump up and down. And sometimes they have to be called down. I've been in the room when that's happened, and you're like, oh gosh. I mean, it's like they went down to the insane asylum, and they pull them out and put them in office. That's how bad it is for a few. And you're like, my gosh. The rest of the body just sits there like, okay, she's got or he's got, or whoever's got about 3 minutes left. I can endure it. They sip their little water or whatever, and then they move on with a vote. There has been times it's been nut job conservatives. And they go in there and they are pleasing their constituency, because there is some areas where they want theirs to go down there and act up, do the same kind of things. I've seen that too. But it's more liberal. It's more, commie, as you say. So yeah, and they just are. I mean, it's a little scary to even think how they're operating as a human being. You're sitting here thinking, this is a senator. This is an elected person who's been elected to come and represent their constituency, and they're in here acting like that. I mean, really, it's time for the white coats, to come. I mean, I've seen it. It's. I remember. I don't judge a book by its cover. I say cover, but I remember being up front once, and I was looking out over because I've been able to be down there, and I was getting ready to walk up, and I don't. First time I was down there, I didn't know who anybody was. I was going to meet the lieutenant governor on the break in between. You have and they'll do photo ops and stuff. But I was looking over all the senators and the districts. It's 56 or whatever it is. Representatives, you have a lot more of it, 180, I think, or something like that. But anyway, um, these represent parts of counties, whole counties, and I was looking up through there, and I was looking, and a few I'd met, so I knew them. I met like the CEO of Waffle House, different ones. I don't even know if he's still lit there, but anyway, and you'll be looking and you're like, oh, there's one crazy, just waiting to come out. You could see it. It's just wild, crazy eyes. And I was like, oh boy, because you knew there was a vote coming up because your senator would be like, hey, you're here, great day for you to come. We're going to be voting on this, and it would be something to do with be pro-life or something. That's something like that's when they really come out. And you could see them over there just getting ready to counter, as they're trying to push through something in the law or something. Now, I've been there a couple of times when that's happened. And they stand up, and it's like, it in a strange way, it's kind of entertaining because you're getting to see something you never really see. But it's also sad in the same way because you're looking at somebody that you're thinking, how do they function as a human being? It's crazy. And I mean, they really do look, it looks lunatic, broski. I mean, crazy. Yeah, I mean, and, now listen, when I say that, I have met those that have came down and been very cordial and kind. We disagree on policy, but they were what I would say of a normal person. They have a different way of looking at things, but they came down and showed great respect. I never had anybody attack me or anything, but I never did talk. There were some of them refused to come around me because they were that way. They had no friends in the body but except themselves. Nobody talks to them because they scream at people. They act up. It is like children, grown children, just jumping up and down. I mean, I've seen them have to call them down. I mean, like gavel them down, like the senator from wherever will refrain from those remarks, and to the point they were about ready to forcibly remove them. I mean, it gets tense. I mean, you can feel the energy in the room, and that's in my state capital. I can imagine, you watch C-SPAN or whatever, you see some of those just going nuts, and some of there'd be like 10 people in the whole room, and they're just hollering, screaming, and it's wild though. I wish everybody could experience it at least once, just to see that. And it's a little bit of chaos. I mean, there's so many people moving around during the break at any time. You come out in the hallways and it's wall to wall people trying to get here and do that. The staffs are all busy. It's very intense for those 40 days of the session. And then the rest of the time you're pretty much back in your district. I mean, that 40 working days. So it lasts more than 40. But you don't count weekends. So they're there for, a couple of months. They may travel in and do some photo ops, different things. It may be a committee meeting or something, but, most of the time they're back in the district. Because you're not getting any work done then. I mean, you can't get anything voted on. So, and they have their, their companies and stuff that they run. So, like I said, I met the CEO of Waffle House. So, when he is not serving as a senator, then he's running his business. How's Broski today? I just thought that was interesting. The president did come out, and he did for the first time. He kind of mentioned it before, but now he said the J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio ticket would be very hard to beat. It's interesting. He did a podcast too. Another one that's somewhat buried in the news today. He's planning to unveil a $700 million plan to boost the coal industry, which is great news in areas of Kentucky and West Virginia and Pennsylvania and a few others. But he will use the authorities under the Defense Production Act, a Cold War era law that allows the president to bolster industries deemed critical to national security. According to a report in Bloomberg, the package includes $425 million for 13 existing coal-fired power plants, $75 million for a coal export terminal in California, and $185 million in Energy Department grants to build new coal plants. Oh, they'll lose their lunch over this one. In Alaska, how did this one get buried? And West Virginia, and restart a shuttered facility in Maryland. Oh my gosh, where's the green people? Alaska, no! Can't build a coal plant in Alaska. The move is part of a broader administration effort to revive the coal sector, which has faced a long-term decline. Coal now supplies about 16% of U.S. electricity, down sharply from its dominant position in previous decades. Administration has also rolled back environmental regulations, taking steps to keep some coal plants operating beyond planned retirement dates, citing concerns about grid reliability and energy security. Well, our grid is bad out, especially out west. Bad. Environmental groups criticize the plan, arguing it will increase costs for consumers while extending the life of aging high-emission power plants. Margie Alt, director of Climate Action Campaign, I guess they call themselves CAC for short, called the initiative a polluter's first agenda, warning that subsidies for our coal facilities could lead to higher electricity bills. It's interesting. They didn't say anything about the environment. They just went trying to do the money side of that. Coal consumption in the United States peaked in 2007, has steadily declined. So anyway, that's one I've not heard that. I didn't know they were planning one in Alaska. Oh my gosh, they'll be pulling out all the sad animal looks and stuff, and there'll be all kind of a campaign on that. The problem for the libs is that this president, he moves at breakneck speed in so many different directions. They don't have time to rally the troops in every area, because it's not just one or two things. He's got, it's pedal to the metal on so many fronts. It's amazing, honestly. It's really amazing how much he has going on. He does say he'll attend the G7 summit in France. What else here? The anti-weaponization payouts are still possible. That'd blow some people's heads up. He plans to make, just yesterday, Blanche the permanent AG. Department of Homeland Security cancels most contracts initiated under NOAA. Interesting. And he also weighs in on the conversation we had the other day. He calls Plattner a major sleazebag, and Tallarico is worse. I need to go pull up this. I need to listen to this podcast, Pod Force One, New York Post Pod Force One. I need to listen to that. I like the name Pod Force One. He dismissed the Democrat Senate field and questioned the appeal of several candidates competing in key battleground races. They don't appeal to anybody, he said of those candidates, referring to them as Democrats. He expressed surprise that Plattner currently holds an advantage over Republican Susan Collins in Maine. According to Real Clear Politics, polling average, Plattner leads Collins by 7.8 percentage points. He's a major sleazebag. You look at him, you can't imagine that, but yeah, he is up in the polls against Susan Collins. He said despite the polling deficit, he predicted Collins would remain competitive in the race. She's always down the polls and she survives. So we'll see. Chuck Schumer continues to back his Plattner's candidacy despite the controversy. Oh, they've been downplaying everything about that. Oh, his marriage, that's it. That's nobody's business. They're working on that. His wife defends him. Come on. I don't think everybody looks at this guy. They say sleaze. I agree with the president. He just seems like a sleaze bag. I don't like what he said about the troops. And he has the freedom to say it, but there's a cost to what you say as well. He said between the two, Tallarico is worse. He's horrible. He also criticized him as a vegan. Tallarico has denied the characterization, although reports have noted that his girlfriend follows a vegan diet. Now he's having a barbecue Trump joke. The president also suggested that Representative Jasmine Crockett, whom Tallarico defeated during the Democratic primary campaign, would have been a stronger candidate. Wow, I thought she was a better candidate. Oh my goodness, he loves to start. Um, so here's his assessment of the Democratic field. These people are crazy. There's something wrong with them. He is always ready for a good quote. Representative Fine says Democrats are willing to embrace evil in their pursuit of political power. Representative Randy Fine, Republican Florida, said on Wednesday, arguing that the continued support of Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, Democrat in New York, for candidate Graham Plattner demonstrates how far party leaders. I mean, how many times do we have to say this? They just get a new person. This goes all the way back to the squad. I mean, they continually roll out people like this. He said demonstrates how far they're willing to go to regain control of the Senate. Fine note told National Report that Democrat leaders have made winning elections their top priority, even if it means overlooking concerns surrounding candidates they support. People willing to embrace evil to gain power should never, ever have access to it. Expanded his criticism beyond Plattner, who is running for U.S. Senate in Maine, arguing that Democrats are focused on political victories above all else. Democrats are so desperate to take power that they will stop at nothing to do that, and that should scare every American. Fine specifically targeted Schumer's continued backing of Plattner, saying that New York Democrats' support reflects what he described as a broader willingness to within the party to prioritize electoral success over principle. Plattner has faced mounting scrutiny after critics pointed to a tattoo on his chest resembling, of course, the Nazi thing. They've also talked about those text messages with women and things he said. So he does come off as he's a bully. He likes to holler at people, and it would be entertaining, that's for sure. Tommy Tuberville from Alabama is running for governor and should win that, I would think. He said on Wednesday that the Democratic Party has lost its way. Well, that's been for a while. They've become the terrorist socialist party, noting recent scandals plaguing Graham Plattner and New Jersey congressional nominee Adam Hamawee. Hope I said it right. Hamawee. He's come under fire after a past connection with Omar Abdel Rahman, the Egyptian cleric who was convicted for his role in the 93 World Trade Center bombing. Who represents the true Democrats in this country that actually love the country? Tuberville questioned on Carl Higbee Frontline. They have no representation anymore here. His words, this is Tommy Tuberville, quote, they got a Nazi and they got a terrorist running in New Jersey. They've got an atheist that's running in Texas. They've lost their way. This is the terrorist socialist party. They've gone too far left. Nobody in the country recognizes them. Now they're trying to take the country over. He said he is working to ensure that does not happen. We're going to stand up. Hopefully we can get the Save America Act. Somebody needs to get their head out of the sand and do something that while we have control, because if we don't do it now, we'll never have control again. These people are trying to control the country with their one or two votes. Because why? They do not respect Donald Trump. And it's like pulling teeth up here to get anything done. It's a crying shame. So he will be out of that body before long because he's going to be the governor of Alabama. I really believe he'll win that. I don't see that flipping any other way. He's done well for himself. A lot of people remember way back when he ran, being the football coach. That's back when they questioned, what does he know? And of course, a lot of people were mad at him when he held out. And he was holding out to be pro-life, and the whole, he pushed it as far as he could. He held up some promotions and stuff because he wouldn't sign that bill. He has put his neck out a lot, and he survived that. He's well spoken, and he's done well for himself. And I think he will become the governor of Alabama. So I think he would certainly be there for 2 terms. I believe that. So. we'll see. There's definitely a huge block of folks that are not going to vote for him, but I think he'll do well there. Pardon me. But yeah, he is. You can see there's definitely an endeavor to get out and get ahead of some of this. By the way, the Jill Biden book tour. Wow. This goes back to my previous point of these supposed people that are expert control. There's these people that are controlling all this moving forward, but then they're really stupid. Jill Biden's up on stage with it was Oprah talking about her book, and Joe wonders. I mean, somebody got fired yesterday, I'm sure, or it is the day before, whenever it was. I think it was yesterday, but it might have been the day before, the night before. Joe walks up to the edge of the stage. Did you hear about this? See it? Hear about it? Asking Jill, who do you love? And she is trying her best to get Joe to go on. And Joe just continues on. It is absolutely, it's sad. But they have nobody but themselves to blame. I mean, they continually have been haunted by these kinds of things. And now and she's mad this morning because she said, say it to my face. A Biden donor to Newsmax, Jill Biden saw her husband's decline. John Morgan, founder of the law firm Morgan & Morgan, which we hear a lot about around here, told Newsmax on Wednesday that Joe Biden should not have supported her husband, former President Joe Biden, in his decision to run for re-election. Morgan, a major donor to the Bidens, has criticized claims made in the former First Lady's book that she thought her husband may have been suffering a stroke during his disastrous June 2024 debate with now President Donald Trump. And of course, he dropped out weeks after the debate. I own nursing homes in Florida. Dementia is a hard disease to catch. Morgan said on Finnerty. It happens slowly over time, but the people who see it first is your family. Amen. I'll agree with him on that. She had to see what we all finally saw that night. He criticized Joe Biden for saying she hadn't seen Joe Biden act that way before or since. Quote, remember the George Clooney event where Barack Obama was holding him by the hand to sit him down, Morgan said. Of course she saw it since. At the White House, you could call down at 11 at night and get a cheeseburger. You could go out by the pool at the White House and order sangrias and margaritas, Morgan said. Well, I don't want to leave the Four Seasons either. But at some point in time, you have to put the country first. And she didn't at all. It's all on her. Morgan said he still communicates with members of Biden's family. I feel bad for Joe Biden because he does not deserve this, Morgan said. But this week, you see him wandering up to a stage, which is what I was just referencing. At a certain point in time, you have to take the keys away. And this is the point. Why are you letting him wander around like that? This is known to happen, and people have that. They're always on the move. You lock the doors at night. You have to have alarms and stuff set because they will wander out the house and down the road. It happens. Sadly, sometimes they wander off in the cold. They get hit or they go off in the woods. They pass away. I mean, they're constantly looking for home. And it is sad. I mean, even though I get what he was and what he's done, how do you not control that? A lot of people may not have liked Nancy Reagan, but they never let the president look like that. He was well taken care of, but it gets bad, and they had a team around him, and he was never seen to be sad like that, embarrassing, saying things that to the very end, and with dignity, because nobody would want to be seen like that. I mean, he is up there asking crazy off the wall stuff, talking about some book he's writing. Who do you love? And Joe, I'm doing a interview. Joe, you did it. You're using him once again. I'm just glad to see that they should have done it before. And by the way, he should have stepped out way before. But at least he said it now. But the voices are starting to come out. We knew this was going to happen. they're beginning, the wall is falling, and there's going to be breakaways from it, because, I'm sure there was a lot of people told them to keep their mouth shut, and they weren't for Trump, so they were trying to win. They were all guilty, but more so those around him, the inner circle, the family. And it happened for a full 2 years, especially that last year before he stepped down. I mean, it was constantly, almost daily, he's flubbing lines. He's turning around and shake hands with people that are not there. He can't find his way off a stage. He's just meandering around, and people are having to hold him by the hand. As he said, I agree with that statement. At some point, you have to take the keys. When my wife was in her declining state, she was still fully cognizant of everything, but it was getting tougher. She couldn't speak, and we had family and some friends that came by, but we did take her out some, but I shielded her a lot. I asked people not to put pictures up on, they could take pictures with her. I asked them, and not to put those on the internet because I wanted her to have some dignity. And my wife didn't even like pictures being taken, but she wanted to take the pictures with them. She got more comfortable with that as she got older, especially with grandkids. And I never denied, people to see her or anything like that. I wanted them to see it, but I just didn't want it flashed out there here in that position. My wife, I wanted to remember the way that she always was, and it's subhuman to do what they've done, and it just shows where they're at, and it goes right back into Tommy Tuberville and every other comment that's been made. They'll do whatever they have to do to get back to retain power, to get power, and I don't care what party it is. If you're doing a human being like that, there's something wrong with you. You can't do that. And if you really cared about your husband, you would say, you know what, I don't care about an election. And at least it's a drug. I'm sure they get the, as he said, I think those are great points. I do agree with those points. Nobody wants to give up power. It's like, well, we're getting to hang out around, the pool at the White House. We got staff waiting on us hand and foot. We don't have to do nothing. The president is they don't have to do nothing. They do everything for them. Every detail of their life is handled by somebody. So you blast through any line. You don't have to wait in line anywhere. I mean, I'm sure it's addictive. People love that kind of thing. But if you have to, at some point, say it's over, and I could see them knowing that he was declining. Actually, he should have been removed from power. They should, and I get the replacement was horrible, but really, it's scary to think, and we know who was running things, and it's scary to think what was happening to our country, and what a dangerous position that puts us in. Because even though they've got the auto pen, they're doing the stuff. I mean, this guy could have stepped forward and made an announcement. He could have. I mean, off script. He was constantly going off script, saying crazy stuff. I mean, what if he'd have stepped to the podium and said something and declared war on Russia or China or whatever? Can you imagine the chaos that would have ensued? That's the danger of this, and that they did, and they didn't care, and they just kept pushing him out there on the stage. And all of America saw it. They knew it was going on. And you just can't do that. This isn't, my grandpa Bob, who's down here, he used to be a dentist or whatever. No, this is the guy, it's the president of the United States. And there is power that comes with that. Not unlimited, but a heck of a lot of power. Not much limits them. And in the moment, he could say things, and he could have started us in World War III. I mean, that's crazy. You are right, sir. You are right, and that's exactly what it is. She has always wanted that. She's desired that. Truth be known, she probably hates just about everybody in that family. It's all about her. There's no way she likes the kids, his kids. There's no way. Come on. And we saw where they're at in their heart, because they deny Navy. The grandchild they deny. Whether you like it or not, no matter what your kiddo was doing, you have another grandchild. And it's unconscionable to me that you would ignore that child like that. And I can't imagine it as, hey, listen, your kids are going to do what your kids are going to do sometimes. They're grown and they do things, and he was definitely doing some things. And I'm not saying they didn't facilitate some of that with money and position and all that, but at the end of the day, how many people have been surprised with, hey, I'm gonna, somebody's gonna have a baby and it's your son's or whatever, and you may not like how that situation happened. We may not always like what our kids do or even grandkids. Things can happen. But I'm gonna tell you what, I have said this my whole life. I always honor life. Sometimes you're just worried that your kids are not in a great position. And I've been there, many times, several times anyway, where they come and said, I need to tell you, I'm going to have a baby. The situation is not the best. It's like, oh boy, I'm, there's a lot of things you want to say, and you're trying to just, don't want to hurt somebody's feeling, but, you have honest discussion about, listen, your situation maybe not be the best, but at the end of that, I'm going to say, listen, I'll always honor life. I always love, God grants this wonderful gift of new life. And that child coming into this life, no matter what the circumstances were, they deserve everything. I'm not saying the kid doesn't deserve support. I mean, it's a time. Things are going to happen. But people that ignore and blame and hate on a child, come on, what's wrong with a person that would do that? I've always said, I've got grandkids that I don't get to see them all the time, but they love me and I love them. And they live a little bit away from me, and we thankfully we do video calls and stuff. And and in some cases, I mean, there's not a daddy around. And this is a situation where he's an absent dad. He didn't want to be. Okay, maybe he, the sleazebag he is, maybe with that, but you're the grandparent. You don't care. I remember, when things happen in our own life and there were breakups and and it's like, say right now, that's my grandkid, I'm gonna be seeing my grandkid. I don't care what you two got going on. I hate it, but I'm gonna see my grandkid. You can bank on that. I'm big on that. I just don't understand. Yeah, she's on this big book tour, broski, and she's rewriting the script. And even the Democrat, it's amazing that the Democrats are calling her out. I mean, supporters, major supporters. I find it amazing, really, really amazing. And follow this tour because this book tour is going to be amazing for a lot of quotes to see. And I just think that she thinks that she has a lot of support there that she may not have. She's overplaying her card, and people are mad because now with them being able to look back, they realize that point, that debate sealed their fate. And it really did. Whether, for them, I'm just saying for them, they believe there was an opportunity to defeat Donald Trump. That at that point, it sealed the deal. There was no time for Kamala. Of course, she had her own problems, but it was a short time to try to mount a campaign. I will say that. And she was not one to do it. It was horrible for her. If they had been smart as a party and again did the right thing, they could have saved themselves. It would have been a better race, whether it was won or not. It would have been a better race. Money spent in a well place, at least better for them. I'm talking about from their perspective. And yeah, now they're sick about it. Now, like he won, and now she's out here, talking about, I didn't know he was sick. I thought he was having a stroke. I didn't know what was going on with him. I was frightened. That's the word. I was frightened. I don't think she'd been frightened much in her life, but except for maybe losing power. Anyway, I just find that's absolutely incredible. One last thing, and there's another article here, and I don't have time to go into it. We'll pick it up tonight on news. Now we'll do news tonight. I had to go and work earlier than normal, so that's why it wasn't on. But we were really busy last night. I was doing a lot of things behind the scenes. I didn't cover news last night, but we will tonight. China's spending billions to stop AI and data centers in the U.S. While China has been pouring billions into its own AI infrastructure and expansion, it may also be funding an equally expensive influence campaign here in the U.S. to oppose the building of data centers. So interesting, there's a lot of people here that don't want them. Obviously, you hear about it, but it's amazing. Maybe there's some, money being spent by the Chinese. Doug Burgum, the Interior Secretary, said that whoever dominates the field of artificial intelligence is going to control the world. And so they say that the data centers have become a focal point for supporters and opponents of the new technology. In April, Senator Bernie Sanders convened his own panel on Capitol Hill to discuss the existential threat to AI, claiming the richest, most powerful people in the world are now building a runaway train with no brakes. Sanders did not hide China's interest in stopping U.S. AI development. He asked two senior Chinese officials to host a panel with him. The pair from China, Xing Yi, dean of Beijing Institute of AI Safety and Governance, and Qi Lan from, I don't know how to pronounce that one, university professor and counselor to China's State Council, used their Capitol podium to downplay U.S.-China AI race. The far left is unequivocally seeking to completely stop U.S. advancement. Earlier this year, Sanders, along with the fellow Democratic rep AOC, introduced the Artificial Intelligence Data Center Moratorium Act. The bill would freeze all new U.S. construction of AI data centers. President Trump and others have been counterpunching in what they see as undue foreign influence over a critical technology of U.S. security economic interest. On Monday, and there was a lot of talk about these executive orders that continue to flow, but he signed a slew of executive orders that aim to combat security risks posed by foreign adversaries. Last year, he signed an executive order that streamlined the permitting process for data centers and provided loans and tax incentives for their construction. In December, he reinforced his earlier order with another one that shields federal permitting from state and local rules. In May, a sweeping new 17-page report from the Bitcoin Policy Institute raised real concerns about China's efforts to back efforts to sow distrust of data centers and effectively block AI programs in the U.S. They say that there's a foreign influence in the campaign against American AI. He details what it calls a multi-year influence operation backed by China targeting U.S. AI data centers and programs. So it goes on there. It's quite a long part. I won't go through it, but they believe they have funneled, these billionaires are funneling money into this seed of discord. So go and read that article. It's a pretty long article, but interesting. Yes, we're in another Cold War to achieve AI dominance and control in the future. Yeah, buckle up, buttercup, because there's a lot going down the pipe. I got to go. Going to work and looking forward to it. It'll be a good day. Tonight, Biscuit Boy in the house. We'll do the Cornbread Nation show. That's always a hoot. And we'll do something else as well, I'm sure. We'll see you tonight. And after that, I'll do some news and sports and stuff. But to have a great day out there. On Friday, we'll do the morning show and all that. But Friday evening, we're going to be coming in live from the dirt track. We'll do some of that, a little bit different for you. We'll interview some people. We'll try to do some, depending on how much, I don't know, we'll just see what kind of signals we have. I may be able to tap into Biscuit Boy's 5G, and because we're going to be out in the middle of nowhere, so I may not be able to do them live, but I'll do them and then we'll upload them. But we'll record them live. What we'll do the interviews and stuff. We'll get you some video, and then we'll upload some stuff. We'll try to find some interesting people to talk to. But anyway, have a great day. Get out of here and head that way, as they say. And Lord bless you, and appreciate you watching. Don't forget about our contest. Go to Substack. It's on the screen, and become a free subscriber, and you'll be entered. Everybody in June does that, and there's gifts to be had. We'll do a drawing of 3 names for sure. First day of July. So we'll announce those. We'll videotape the drawing and all that, so that people can see that. I'll get my granddaughter, somebody draw the names out. So right now it's wide open. I don't think there's been but 1 or 2 to do that. So they stand a good chance to win. Go there and do that, and you can be entered in the drawing. So anyway, take care, and we'll see you this evening. Here it goes.
Wake me